2 a.m. Everyone's asleep. But you? You're drowning in tears you can't let anyone see. Face buried in your pillow. Chest tight. Pain so deep it feels like it's crushing you from the inside. You think you're alone. You think nobody cares. You think your suffering is invisible. But what if I told you that right now, in this exact moment, something supernatural is happening in heaven? Something so powerful that if you knew the truth, you'd never feel abandoned again. What I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you thought you knew about your pain. Establishing relatability. Let's be honest. We all know that feeling. It's the middle of the night. Your mind won't shut off. The weight of everything you're carrying finally breaks through. Maybe someone betrayed you. Maybe you lost something you'll never get back. Maybe you're watching everyone else succeed while you're stuck. Maybe you prayed for something so desperately and God said, nothing. So you do what you always do. You hide it. You put on the mask during the day. You smile. You say I'm good when you're falling apart. You keep it together. But when that door closes and the lights go out, the real you shows up. The broken you. The scared you. The you that's barely holding on. And in that darkness, you whisper the question that's been eating you alive, does anyone even see me right now? The answer will blow your mind. The divine reality. Here's what's really happening. Every single tear is seen. You think you're crying alone? Wrong. Heaven is watching. And not just watching, responding. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us something incredible. He said God is closest to you when you're at your lowest. When you're broken. When you're desperate. That moment when you hit the floor crying? That's not your weakest moment. That's when heaven leans in. The scholars tell us that angels, actual angels, surround you when you cry in private. They witness your pain. They see what nobody else sees. Think about that. While you're feeling invisible on earth, you're surrounded by divine attention in heaven. Your tears? They're not falling into empty space. They're being collected, recorded, honored. The Quran says, God is with those who are patient. Not near them. With them. Like, right there. In that room. In that moment. In that pain. While you think you're alone, God is telling the angels, look at my servant. Look how they turn to me when they have nothing left. Look at that faith. The transformation, game-changing truth. But here's where it gets insane. Your tears aren't just witnessed. They're transformed. The Prophet said that every hardship a believer faces removes their sins. Even something as small as a thorn prick. So those tears you're crying at 3 a.m.? They're not just tears. They're spiritual currency. Every tear is erasing mistakes you've made. Washing away regrets you're carrying. Canceling out sins you've forgotten about. You're not just crying. You're being purified. Think about it. When you cry alone, there's no ego involved. No performance. No audience. Just you and your truth. Just you and your vulnerability. Just you and God. And that raw, honest, broken moment? That's the key that unlocks mercy. One authentic tear shed in the darkness is worth more than 1,000 prayers said out of habit. Your tears are not a sign of weakness. They're proof you're still human. Still feeling. Still fighting. And while you're crying, thinking you're losing, you're actually winning in ways you can't see yet. Every tear is building your rewards in the afterlife. Every sob is elevating your rank. Every broken prayer is being answered, just not in the way you expected. Reframing the pain, perspective shift. Now let's talk about why you're crying in the first place. Maybe it's a person who left. Maybe it's a door that slammed shut. Maybe it's a dream that died. But what if, just what if, God removed that person because they would have destroyed you? What if He closed the door because what was behind it would have ruined your life? What if He's saying no to your prayer because He's preparing to give you something 10 times better? The Quran drops this wisdom bomb: you might hate something that's actually good for you. And you might love something that's actually bad for you. God knows. You don't. Read that again. Your tears today might be protecting you from a disaster tomorrow. Your closed door might be redirecting you to a gate you didn't even know existed. You're crying because you wanted plan A, but God is setting up plan B, and it's going to blow your mind. The angelic response, supernatural support. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening in the unseen realm right now. You're in your room. Tears streaming down your face. You feel alone. But you're not. The angels assigned to you, the ones recording your deeds, protecting you, walking with you, they're not just standing there. They're active. The scholars say angels make dua for you. They pray to God on your behalf. They ask Him to ease your burden, to replace your pain with peace, to turn your tears into triumph. Imagine that. Beings of pure light, interceding for you at the throne of God, while you're crying in your bedroom. You're not fighting alone. You have backup in realms you can't even see. And there's more. Islamic tradition tells us that when a believer cries out of sincerity, out of longing for God, out of regret, out of pain, the gates of heaven literally open. Not metaphorically. They actually open. Your vulnerability has access that your strength doesn't. Your tears can reach places your words can't. When you cry alone at night, you're not powerless. You're tapping into a spiritual frequency that most people never access. The promise, future payoff. So what does all this mean for you? It means your suffering has a purpose. Your pain is going somewhere. Your tears are not wasted. God promises in the Quran, with hardship comes ease. Not after. With. Meaning even while you're in the storm, your relief has already been planted. It's growing. You just can't see it yet. Your tears are watering that seed. Here's what the scholars say: on Judgment Day, people will wish they had cried more. Because they'll finally see what every tear became. They'll see how every midnight sob turned into a mansion in paradise. How every broken prayer elevated their rank. How every lonely night became a testimony that changed their eternity. You don't see it now. But one day, you will. One day, you'll stand before God. And He'll show you the replay of your life. And when you see those nights you cried alone, you'll see what was really happening. Angels surrounding you. Sins being erased. Doors opening. Enemies being blocked. Blessings being prepared. Prayers being answered in ways you never noticed. And you'll fall down in gratitude. Not because you suffered, but because you finally understand what that suffering was building. The empowerment, reclaiming the narrative. So the next time you're up at 2 a.m. with tears you can't control, remember this. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. And you are definitely not alone. Heaven sees you. The angels are with you. God is closer to you in that moment than at any other time. Your tears are not a sign of defeat. They're evidence of a heart that's still alive. Still feeling. Still connected to something bigger than yourself. Don't run from your tears. Let them fall. Because every single one is taking you closer to the breakthrough you're desperate for. Some people meditate for years trying to reach the spiritual state you're in when you cry alone at night. You're already there. Your pain is not punishment. It's preparation. Your tears are not random. They're removing what needs to go so you can receive what's meant to come. Here's the bottom line. What's happening in heaven when you cry alone at night is far more beautiful than anything happening on earth. Your tears today are planting your joy tomorrow. Your pain today is building your paradise tomorrow. So cry if you need to. But cry with hope. Because you're not losing. You're being transformed. God sees every tear. He hears every prayer. And He's preparing something for you that will make you say, every tear was worth it. Every sleepless night. Every moment I thought I couldn't go on. It was all worth it. If this message hit you, share it with someone who's crying alone tonight. Let them know they're not forgotten. And next time you find yourself in that dark room with tears you can explain, remember, heaven is watching. Angels are praying. And God is about to turn your pain into something extraordinary. Your tears matter. Your pain has purpose. And your breakthrough is closer than you think.